Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below and turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
And participate and be part of the panel to talk about these incidents. We're talking in terms of the question of ECL being buried, ECL not being buried. It's an embarrassment. First of all, it's an embarrassment for, according to me, for the whole state, for the whole nation in Zambia. We could have not expected such a thing to happen to our country, but it has happened. So now the question is, what is the way forward? Now, I listened to you, Honorable Mwamba, and I listened how you presented to all the Zambian people Makebi Zulu's elaboration of the status of affair at the moment. What is happening in South Africa? What is happening? And I'm not going to go through what you've mentioned, but what I've captured is that the government now is trying to find a new negotiator. So from Patrick Kangwa, I understand, if I'm not mistaken, that the government now has found a North Mid Assemblies of God bishop. The name, I've forgotten the name.
Dr. Joshua bishop. H.K. Banda. He's also a Banda.
Yes. So, also is a Banda. So now, Dr. Banda, Dr. Joshua Banda is now the advocate which is being chosen by the government. And the family have chosen Dr. Eric Banda. I'm a Catholic priest, and I am a Catholic. I belong to this congregation and this to the church, which I cherish very well. Now, by Emmanuel Mwamba, there are all these accusations of Bishop Banda being involved in obtaining a vehicle, whether it was licit or whether it was illicit. That is secondary. But if at all, this is the word I'm going to speak now to the our colleagues, our friends in the UPND. If Bishop Banda obtained that vehicle illegally, today I've offered to buy the same vehicle and I'll give it to the UPND government. I repeat, if Bishop Banda obtained that vehicle illegally, today I have offered to buy that vehicle and give it to the UPND government. If that is going to help to the way, by the way, by church, we serve the people. We don't serve ourselves. I do not serve myself. Bishop Banda is not there to serve himself. We serve the church. And in the UPND, by UPND, you have the Catholic people. I want to tell you this. I'm not warning you, but I'm telling you as a brother and as a colleague. By UPND, by Catholic in the UPND, you want to put on the cross Bishop Banda, the Archbishop of Lusaka. This is unfair. This man, if he has made a mistake, he has stolen from the government of the Republic of Zambia. They change Baka, but they change the church in Zambia. We can do a collection. Let's make a collection. We pay to the government is going to now to leave Bishop Banda free. If that's it, that is an economic part of it. I go now to what Makebi Zulu has mentioned. If the family, Dr. Alec Banda to stand on their side, my appeal to the government is this. President Hakainde Hichilema, our Excellency, you are a president of the Republic of Zambia. You are a president of all the 21 or 22 million Zambians. Your Excellency, if you have grudge against Bishop Banda, give us some information what we can do, if you can reconcile. Otherwise, what I'm saying is this, Your Excellency, try to avoid bringing the issue of an archbishop in this situation. I pray to God and I beg my colleagues in the UPND, we love you. If the government has failed in some cases, we don't hate you, but we love you. Thank you so much, Mwamba. And I have to do my condolences again to the Lungu family. Lungu family, you are not alone. Madam Esther Lungu, we are together. Our responsibility is to guide and protect the widow and the orphans. We are going to do in your case and in the case of Tasula Lungu and the other children of yours. Who are the orphans in this case? We need empathy in the country Zambia. We need it. Once the Zambian people, we need this. This is Zambia. Everyone knows this about us. They know that the Zambian people are so empathetic. The Zambian people are not violent. The Zambian people, they really welcome anyone who comes to Zambia. Coming from Dr. Kaunda.
Father, let me just take some calls. Calls are piling up. Thank you very much, Father. That was Father Donosco from Italy. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. You are speaking with Joshua Piri. I'm calling from within Lusaka.
Thank you, Joshua. Make your contributions.
Yes, Mwamba. I know you are a strong member of the PF, and basically it's quite hard for you to look at real issues, even though when the PF is wrong, and just come out clearly and say this is wrong. Looking on the issue of the late President Edgar Lungu, we know all of us what happened. President Edgar Lungu came back to active politics. And I know with the misinformation on social media, people don't know really what happened. But President Lungu came back to active politics. And when he came back, the law, it is the law, it is not HA.
Oh, Mr. Joshua from Lusaka, the line is cut. You can call back. Family, we are discussing the matter regarding the late president, Zambia's sixth president. There's been an update from the family. The family has just disclosed that persons purported to have been hired as private investigators turned up at a morgue last month and attempted to get the body once again. They were accompanied by two persons that identified themselves as police officers from South African Police Service, Parktown. And there are all these matters that have risen, including these public attacks against the late president and against the appointed mediator, Archbishop Dr. Alec Banda. And the family has issued a sober statement expressing concern on these matters. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Munkonge.
Good evening.
Ambassador, if you have kuli lungu family, sa aliba abanabo bantu oko bafuma nopo bayiminine pabushikubwelero nga kumaka yabo teti bafikiringa papeno po baberere so firafine bachitekera muliresa po bapepo achinene chin kofe bari chitekera mu pantu amapange ya murwani ofo yaba nga yamono kwebati we muntu itsumino na ukonka itsumino no kushimpirira muliresa omurwani ala leta ama confusion ya kumubiri aya physical ya kuchita provoke because ngwa provoked, which means ni jora ba defeated nga wakonga ifyo abarwani baleisa ifintu fyonse fya mu mupashi nga mwaba defeated ku mupashi nishi rugatire mona physically ni kufikirisha fe so firafine bakosa ku mupashi no kupepa opo ba amachushi yabe katirangu before amachushi no mubare pitalyon sero bali abakateka bene barungu bali pito muntu mwingi sana murando wakwe batwe bantu pacharo to ali baba kusana kwali bana baraba kwe bati ngo akwata fe problem ichipanda chonse kuishiba oro kwali bana abantu bali abashaberero okulandana ngubana nakwata problem kwali bana balandana abashiranda noma nachiranga fya pabuta tutu kwe bati iyi family tufire to ayipepera ko yali pita mwingi sana chiriro cha saturanga ferioresa ewali ngere no kwe bati bafuire ku South Africa because ngata bafuire ku South Africa ngata tusambirire pa fintu ifingi oro chingyo cyo ningaromba ko bamwamba tumwaromba ko kuri family iriya situation yambiro kuchitika after ba kateka bafwa fyefya ishira mbo kutike fya ko bati abantu kunganda yachiriro tabamukurosha tabatuma ko na phone kuri family atumwachure oro family asa mufafya to kuri abeshire mu kusenda body so pare mukarombeka kuri family mukarondorere ko abantu bambibe na baranda fyo ko bati bafayo kushikira ku South Africa chapo a point so ili ashiri alitoroka sana chishi charenga kwa bati kushikira ku South Africa mukarombeko mukarete pa platform pako bati nabashalira batenshibe fya chitikapo bantu 50 tikenera mona kwa fyache pa comparing nefya chitikapo fya rengo ko bati pabe na mali restriction pali board so kutina romba ko maromba kuri family yabeba go ahead mwaeba ko icharo pako batabengi baba update bantu bambinga tureranda ko munafe kwa tirimbi turanda fe lero liri ashiba konkanya poli akumupashira kuri Kristo ndeba papa tabe tena rangura ifire chitika fyonse fibi barefuka mafenge fyo bafukama uko chimfisho akwabera kumupashi te ku physical ngana muina kumupashi nangu bamituke bachite filishani nishira muina kumupashi batwaliriro kwata umupashi wa kushintirira muri Kristo pani fyonse ngabapera Kristo erwa bena kutwale muna kwati bareruisha bawido bareruisha abana banishiwa hawe nishi umupashi wa kwalesa uri pantanji so bakonkanye pofyo kushitashanya ukubera ifyo umupashi wa kwalesa uri fwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'll remain anonymous. As you know, our countries is damaged beyond control.
Yes.
I wanted to add a voice, a very significant voice, Bamwamba, and I'll request for a bit of time. Bamwamba, we have a problem as Zambians. If you look at Edgar Chagwalungu was not an ordinary man. Like Romo Chibaipe, Kubena Salome, so Alpha Malabako. Edgar Lungu has brought so much development in this country. He has built a lot of buildings, a lot of schools, a lot of what you can name it. No Tamaya Potera and there what Urukunga Kasamayo Basangiri Kurako. He has done something that no president on this land has ever done something like that. But we Zambians, the one he has done all that work for, what are we going to do about his days? So how are we going to defend him? We have a monster in play. We cannot even doubt it. A person, Father Mpombo, that no, we should ask for forgiveness and have reconciliation. This is not a person who can even have a seat with on the table. This man does not know, does not have heart, does not have even sympathy, doesn't know anything. This man is just empty, I'm telling you. Look how he addresses issues, like the way he was talking about Malanji. It shows that even judiciary has got no power to look over anything. It's him who directs. It's him who makes calls to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, to determine how things are going to end. This is the man that you are dealing with. He's a man that has got no heart. But Zambians are just folding their hands and telling the family to pray. To pray for what? This man has died and we are just watching. And the family is being abused. I'm telling you, it is a very bad thing to speak for Zambians and to work for Zambians. That's what these Zambians show.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Let's allow other callers. Thank you very much. There are so many calls. Let's just allow them many callers. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay. Good evening, Honorable Mwamba. I'm an anonymous and a concerned Zambian. The late President Edgar Lungu was my president as a person. But the way we are dealing with this issue, I think we are really punishing him. Why can't we bring him back home in his own country? We bury him and this ends. What is really a problem for whether the family doesn't want to bring back or we forget whatever? I know Zambia is a Christian nation, but we need just to forget whatever happens. We need to learn how to forgive. He was not just a president to a family. I'm sorry to mention that, but he was a president to even myself and my family. So if the way the issue is being taken and all that, to me, I think it doesn't sit well. Why can't we bring him back? He rests, we forget about it.
Okay, thank you. There's another caller on the line. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Honorable Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Kabongo from Kashuwe Peshidia, DRC. I've been missing programs of late. I wanted to catch up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable, I think what I can say is, first of all, we are with the Lungu family. We are praying for them, and we would like to send a word of encouragement to Kutiva, and I think everybody is busy on their knees praying for the Lungu family. My question is, I don't know if I can say it's a question or it's not a question. Chishi ichakosa pali uyu mubili. Ichalenga kuti chise chifike na kulinomba. Ukulatindana pa mubili. The government, the UPND government, they are ruling. This is what they wanted. They have the governance. Why fighting with this single family? Why are they? How many times are they going to injure this lady? Even if I don't even know, let's change goals. Let's put Wamtinte straight treating Yumsango. How would people take this? If the family decides people have talked presidents surrounding our country. Atumukalamba tapusakewo apusakabwe. There's some elderly gentleman who said something here about being a platform. At Mashkum Sonda, if I can remember very well. This is now getting worse. Ushe, kulia ku state house na ku nanikane ku community house. Ta kwa bakalamba bakateka pension kulanjanya na bena. This is just too much. And if I don't know, we cannot even. Anyway, Wamwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Kefas Mwapemusonda calling you from Kabwe, an advocate for industrialization and national development.
Put your phone direct on your on the mouthpiece.
Ambassador, are you able to get me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I was saying I'm Kefas Mwapemusonda from Kabwe, an advocate for industrialization and national development.
Thank you. Make your contributions.
It is saddening, very saddening that we have had this issue for almost close to 3 to 4 months now. But I want to tell the Zambian people and the world at large that the God that gave Zambia Edgar Chagwalungu to be president of this republic is the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. Edgar Chagwalungu declared the 18th of October a day of national prayer, fasting, and repentance. Just for this one thing that he did, just for this one thing that he did, I want to remind the Christendom that there was a king in the Bible, if you read 2 Kings chapter 20, a king who had fallen ill, and the prophet was sent to him to go in order because he was going to die. But alas, the king did not respond in any way, and he never said a word to the prophet. All he did was to turn his face on the other side and pleaded to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and said, "Oh God, I know I'm a sinner, but remember for only one thing, one good thing that I have done." The Bible gives us confidence and gives us courage that the moment the prophet left, even before he would leave the yard, the Lord's voice whispered to him and said, "Go back and tell him that another 15 years to live." What am I trying to say? For the sake of the day that is coming on Saturday, let the real and faithful Christians pray for the Lungu family. And God will indeed intervene and will definitely give us answers towards this predicament. We know that the Lord gave us, and the Lord decided to take him at such a time like this. But I want to appeal that every person has a relationship. And the relationship that Edgar Chagwalungu had with Father Bishop Arik Banda, it's a bond that no one will ever break. And I want to stand and speak that that bond, regardless of the afflictions that will come towards them, God will still uphold the bond, because this is a man that declared that I will be your friend even in death. We are reminded that at one time David had made a relationship with Jonathan. Even when Jonathan died, Bamwamba, still David, when he became a king, he was reminded of the covenant that he had made with his friend. He asked, "Is there anyone that has remained in the home of Jonathan? For the sake of my friend Jonathan, I want to honor that person." I want to appeal to the members of the Patriot Front, the members in the opposition, as well as those in the ruling, that 18th was not just a mistake that Edgar made for this great country. It was a calling and it was a footprint that no one will take away from him. Therefore, let us pray, for we know that we who are still alive, we will die. And we may not even know the way we will die, but truthful, we will one day die. And before we die, the Bible says in Ecclesiastes, Bamwamba, that for those that have died, their hate is gone. Their love is gone. That's why tulandira tiwafwa alamba nga walikwete ekikonko nankwe. There is no need of you having ekikonko. Nga walikwete ekyakukalipwa ku mutima. There is no need of you kukwata ekyakukalipwa. The best is he cannot come to speak for himself. All we are saying is, Mama Esther and your family, stand fast. Look at the cross. Christ Jesus died on a Friday, but he resurrected on a Monday, on a Sunday, meaning that death is but of a temporal nature. All I know and I believe that one day Edgar will stand and tell a testimony that even in my death, certain people were there to fight me. Those that are following his body, I want to make this earnest appeal to you that, brethren, certain cases that people have upon their lives, they just kumpula them. And you may kumpula those cases because someone is promising to pay you. Remember Hakan in the Bible. Remember Naaman. When Naaman was healed by the prophet Elisha, the Bible says the one who was working with the prophet was told, at the moment God is watching. Thank you very much, Mamwamba, and God bless Zambia.
Thank you very much. Dear audience, we are discussing the latest update from the family of the late president. They've issued them a worrying statement expressing concern at latest development. You remember that there've been mediation that was going on in the background, and when there was breakthrough made, an announcement was made that 2 mediators had been appointed, independent mediators. Government appointed Dr. Joshua H.K. Banda as mediator on behalf of government. He's senior pastor at North Mid Assemblies of God and is Pentecostal Assemblies of God president in Zambia and I think in Africa. And the family appointed Dr. Alik Banda, Archbishop of the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Lusaka. There have been concerns. The family learned of a purported private investigator. We have named the private investigator and his name, and who turned up at the morgue demanding to get the body, demanding to conduct a post-mortem. He came with 2 police officers from a South African police service, Parktown police station, and they demanded to get this body. Now you are aware that the matter is in court. Before we even discuss mediation, the matter is in court, the matter is on appeal, the matter is coming up for hearing. The orders that were given that only certain people could access a body still stand. The orders that were given, you cannot get the body, still stand according to South African police law. They've also expressed fresh concern regarding the attacks that were made on their appointed mediator when the 2 were just expected to start the mediation. Dr. Alik Banda has been under unprecedented attacks from the state. They've even organized, echo chambers and surrogates to attack the mediator. It's not that we should defend what happened to Dr. Alik Banda, but the facts are there. In court, there were conflicting statements. One witness said the vehicle was given to a Banda, a Banda who bought it from ZRA, but the vehicle was found with Archbishop. The other one, who was the board secretary, Ms. Ngandu, testified that 8 vehicles, among the 50 vehicles were released to DMMU, to Zambia Police, to various entities, churches, and 8 went to a charity. There were these 2 statements. Clearly, Archbishop Eric Banda is far from it. But like the Malanji case, there's no $11 million, but you purport that it is to scandalize, literally linking it to the late president. And then President Hakainde Hichilema's own statements the last one or so week, he, over the jet, he kept on asking who authorized the presidential jet to go to Turkey, he says. Yet that wasn't a presidential jet. It was now a plane being held under the Zambia Air Force. And any plane under the Zambia Air Force, the authority ends with the chief of staff. The president doesn't come into the picture. The president had a brand new presidential plane, the G650 Gulfstream. The point is, President Lungu is not here to defend himself or his actions. So why are you scandalizing him? And the family has issued that statement. Okay, let's take your call so that we can discuss, and then we'll begin to wind up. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. I'd love to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Ambassador Mwamba, it's disappointing and it's very sad to hear the statement that came from Makebi Zulu on the part of the family and what is happening. I don't know why the government is so much in a hurry to access the body. Every time progress, the government finds a way of sabotaging the process. And this is happening in a foreign land. Do you know how embarrassing it is? Especially for us that live in this very country. If it were individuals that maybe were coming from the family, it would have been better, not the government. And you notice that the government is not issuing any statements concerning this. Clearly, you can see the guilt written over their faces, and they're still being arrogant over this same issue. This is a very straightforward issue. I don't understand why the government is doing this. And these people are very selfish. They're not looking at the image of the nation or what this will do where we are going. We pray. We can only pray that they'll resolve this issue because it has taken far too long. And I'm looking forward to hear a statement from Bishop Joshua Banda, since he was appointed a person from the government side. And possibly we need to hear the position of government from Mr. Kang. What Makebi Zulu has released is very concerning. And the family has kept on, they've been consistent. We can blame them all we want, but the family has been consistent and very organized, unlike our government. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Colleagues, we are discussing the latest development regarding the late president, his funeral and burial. And I've always said there's something we can learn, when the late president of Nigeria died in London, you saw how the Nigerian government acted. And within a period of 3 days, he had been put to rest. Look, the latest that has occurred in India, where the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, has died. Just look at how government has handled that matter. First of all, they've issued not just a statement, but what are they calling it? Let me retrieve it from the president's own page. The president had to issue a proclamation, official proclamation, on the death of, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. Look at the decorum. And they had to issue a special proclamation. Then the president came and addressed the nation. For us, it took 7 days to do that. we have repeatedly said these matters, the failures, the debacles, the mistrust, the confusion that arose, we have appealed that we put them behind. We allow this negotiation process that had started. Like the previous caller said, every time there's progress, it's like government is keen that the late president should not be buried, or the family should be polarized and his name remain in scandal. And then they take this funny action. What was the justification to hire private investigators? What was the justification to attempt to access a body and conduct a post-mortem? What was the justification of trying to retrieve and recover the body? Who are these strangers that are so concerned about the late president in South Africa that they want to get the body and conduct a post-mortem in South Africa? Who are these people? Lucky enough, we have the minutes. The people that were hired stated that they were hired by the government of the Republic of Zambia. And this is where the statement by the family spokesman becomes alarming.
Good evening, fellow countrymen and women. This is an update by the family of the former president, President Edgar Chagwalungu, on the state of the negotiations with the government of Zambia. The family of the former president, President Edgar Chagwalungu, wishes to provide a public update on the state of negotiations with the government of the Republic of Zambia regarding the protracted burial impasse of the late former president who died on the 5th of June 2025 in South Africa. On the 5th of September, the family and representatives of the government issued a joint statement wherein the public was notified that the parties would engage in mediation to resolve the dispute. It was agreed that the process would include taking steps to rebuild trust that had earlier been broken by the Zambian state when they released a funeral program that included new elements that were contrary to what was agreed upon. The government chose Bishop Joshua Banda from the North Mid Assemblies of God, and the family appointed Dr. Alec Banda, the Roman Catholic Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Lusaka. It was agreed that the two mediators were to preside over the discussions between the family and the government. However, at the time of this agreement, His Grace Archbishop Banda was in Europe and only set to return home on or around the 1st of October 2025. In the intervening period, the state engaged in acts that have only worked to undermine trust in the process. These acts included the following. Number one, hiring of the services of a private investigator without the knowledge and consent of the family. On 23rd of September 2025, in an attempt to access the body of former President Lungu, the Zambian government engaged a private investigator who approached the morgue holding the remains of the late former president, alleging that a docket of case had been opened after a report was allegedly received from a family member to the extent that the former president had been poisoned. Whilst the said private investigator, in the company of plainclothes police officers, was still at the morgue, the family was contacted, and upon request, the said investigator and police declined to talk to the family. Instead, the investigator and police officers proceeded to hold a meeting with the management of the morgue. The following were the minutes of the proceedings of the said meeting. And I quote, on 23rd September 2025, we received an announced visit from members of the South African Police Service, accompanied by a representative of a private security firm. The purpose of the visit was to inquire about the whereabouts of a body in connection with a case of alleged poisoning involving the president. The attendees of the meetings were Sheldon Modley, who was the chief executive of the morgue, Fulufelo Lukwareni, who's the operations manager of the morgue, and Pom Nisi, executive, legal, risk, and compliance at the morgue. With the private investigator was Detective Sergeant Ngwenya from SAPS Parktown, Sergeant Tobejani from SAPS Parktown, and Mr. Sibindi, the CEO of GIRA's investigations. Detective Sergeant Ngwenya advised that a case of poisoning had been opened and wanted to know the whereabouts of the body in order to carry out a post-mortem. When asked who initiated the case, we were informed that it was opened on the basis of allegations circulating on public platforms, including social media. We also inquired about Mr. Sibindi's involvement, and he confirmed that he had been appointed by the Zambian government in relation to the matter. All three individuals presented valid identification prior to any discussions. We confirmed that the body is currently with TM, although we do not have specific details on its exact location. We also informed the officials that a court order is in place prohibiting the release of the body, and we remain committed to complying with this order. Detective Sergeant Ngwenya indicated that SAPS may proceed with an application under Section 205 and potentially save us with an order to release the body so that they can do a postmortem on 25th September. Action TM to update the family regarding the above developments. End of quote. Upon receipt of these trust-breaching acts, the family decided to bring this matter to the attention of Mr. Patrick Kangwa, the Secretary to the Cabinet of the Republic of Zambia, whom the government had officially designated as its focal point of contact through whom all communication was to be carried out. In response, Mr. Kangwa expressed ignorance as to the happenings and undertook to inquire. After 3 days of silence, we nudged the Secretary to the Cabinet for a response as to the outcome of his inquiry. Mr. Kangwa responded that as far as he knew, the Zambian government was not involved in these acts and had not tendered any such report to him. As this correspondence was taking place via phone, we then requested the Secretary to the Cabinet to put in writing the response he had just shared with the family so that the formal communication of the position of the government could be shared with the morgue for its notice. Despite undertakings to do so, Mr. Kangwa has to date not done so. Perhaps additionally, as of this evening, Mr. Kangwa said the said letter would not be processed. Instead, on the 29th of September 2025, a group calling itself Progressive Forces of South Africa purported to have formally filed a report with the South African Police Service, alleging that President Edgar Lungu was murdered and as such investigations be carried out. It must be noted that this is the same organization that was used to disparage the Lungu family and vilify the late former President Lungu. It is also the same organization that protested at the Pretoria High Court when the matter came up for their hearing in the name of supporting the government of Zambia. The public may wish to note that while the family was and has been engaging the government in good faith, the government was and has, in the background, been carrying out clandestine activities that can only be said to be intended to frustrate the process and present a futile bid to access the body of the former President Lungu for unknown reasons. Secondly, the sustained and malicious attacks on the family-chosen mediator. Following the return of Archbishop Alec Banda, the mediator selected by the family on the 1st of October 2025, it was announced that the parties were to engage and agree on the dates and timelines for discussion. However, rogue online tabloids and individuals associated with the government of Zambia launched scathing attacks on His Grace Archbishop Banda, short of calling him a criminal. These attacks continued for days, bringing the name of the Archbishop into public ridicule and odium. This has resulted in the stalling of progress to formally commence talks. Incidents such as the above stated seriously erode the trust that is essential to the success of the process of this nature. They also raise legitimate concerns about the sincerity and coordination of efforts on the part of those involved. That said, the Lungu family remains fully committed to ensuring that the late former president is laid to rest in a manner that honors his dignity and wishes. This has been the position of the family from the beginning. As such, the family will explore every avenue to honor former President Lungu's wishes. We remain indebted to the Zambian people and other well-wishers who have continued to stand with the Lungu family in prayers, thoughts, and otherwise, and without whom the burden and load would have been unbearable. As we seek closure to what has been and continues to be a very difficult period, we continue praying to God Almighty and remain hopeful that this darkest hour will pass. May God bless Zambia, and may God bless everyone who is watching this broadcast.
Thank you very much. Let me take the last few calls over this unfortunate development. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Mr. Mwamba.
Yes.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, what I can only contribute here is that I think, my name is Jeremiah Jerry.
Yes, Mr. Jerry.
What I think is that I think we have a president who's got no conscience, a president who's got no heart for the people of Zambia. And I think that our president is not a very normal man. I don't think he's a normal person. That's what I can only contribute.
Moderate your language, my brother. Moderate your language.
Thank you.
No, I think let's moderate the language. The matter is totally unacceptable with the development that has been announced by Honorable Makebi Zulu. All of us, when the mediation process started, and Secretary to Cabinet was camped in South Africa, I think for a period of 3 weeks, and there was a moratorium to comment about this matter issued, we religiously observed this process, and we've largely kept quiet. Even when personally I've been aware of these maneuvers from the background, I've exercised a lot of restraint, hoping that government will come to their senses and allow the process to begin in earnest, the mediators that were appointed to begin their work, and that we can put the president to rest. The developments, as we are discussing them today, are that as at 5th September, the initial discussions between the family and government concluded the initial stage where it was agreed that for purposes of refining the program and the details, independent mediators will be appointed to tackle the concerns from both government and the family. The family proposed Archbishop of Lusaka, Dr. Alik Banda. Government appointed Dr. Joshua H.K. Banda of North Mid Assemblies of God and Pentecostal Assemblies of God President, that the two must mediate. The work was supposed to start last week, but there've been a series of development, the attacks on the late president, coming from President Hakainde Hichilema himself. The attack on the appointed mediator, Dr. Alik Banda. But more so, these are periphery issues. The core issues were this process that now where you have these individuals are allegedly sent by the state. A private investigator turns up with 2 police officers and he wants to get the body of the late president. This alarmed the family. We are back to square one, where we started from. And as you can see, the family has exercised patience, got in touch with Secretary to Cabinet, that there are people purporting that you've hired, that they want to take the body of the late president. There's a private investigator, and there are these two police officers. Mr. Kangwa expressed ignorance, and discussions were on their court orders, and the family demanded a letter of assurance from Mr. Kangwa that government did not hire the private investigator. That letter has not come to date. And the investigator, if you look in the correspondence, I think they want to, as soon as possible, conduct and pick the body of the late president. Now, purportedly because of a complaint by that rogue group called Progressive of South Africa. There's a caller. Let's hear from the caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, this is Mwewa from Livingstone.
Mr. Mwewa, make your contributions.
Thank you so much, Mwamba. I think the update from the family was very much necessary. And let me first start by assuring them that they have our support. We are with them in prayer. These are quite difficult moments indeed for the Lungu family and for the country at large. These are very, very unfortunate moments. Now, looking at the events from the time that Dr. Edgar Lungu died, first, like you mentioned, announcement was a problem. Going to the hospital was a problem. Visiting him at the hospital was a problem. Even when he said that I will use my own money to cater for my medical bills, still he was not helped. And coming to where we are now, the only time that even government has gone to this funeral, I think the first time I can say it's at the South African court. They had to drag the family to court. Now, this is a family that has lost a loved one and who needs closure. And this is, on the other hand, the government that is saying that we need to bury him with dignity, to render him a dignified burial. A dignified burial, his political party is in shambles. His political party has been bari katapa mkoshitele pelevela political party amapepa takwava amapepa yaba kuli bachavinga balifo kumushika with dignity, balifo kumushika omuntu with dignity. Baletuma abantu kuyasa omubiri wamu. All these things, where are we going as a country? So Mr. Mwamba, I even become emotional. Let me talk about also the other hand on leadership, especially in the Patriotic Front. Look at you members of the Patriotic Front. Look at what is happening to the Lungu family. Let me specifically maybe point out Dr. Chris Zuman. He's busy arguing over leadership. But urupora rwabarungu rurerero barira ndati bari koloyo. Ni state bari kopera pokubena makebizuru loyo tisho. Bale ndati bari baloyo. But bafiro kulanga loyo kubantu ebwasalire Edgar Chagwarungu. Edgar Chagwarungu era resonta bari ama members of Central Committee barubinda. Mwali sana babemba bengi nishita babasontere abarukosere. Bali sonta ba given lubin. Bali sonta banakachinda. Bali sonta mwe ba Mwamba. And the others. Bushe time mbale misonta emwe. Tamwali ababemba mulira meeting. So leadership muchipani na mwena. Tulerwa fweka on issues that are straightforward. The same Chris Zuman, when did he become bigger than the Central Committee? Who questions the Central Committee? He was just a private political advisor. He had found the Central Committee. He joined in 2019 when we were in power. In 2016, he wasn't there. But we were in power and PF won. In 2021, he was there. PF lost. And these people are still bringing confusions. If you check South Africa, abantu abatabale fimona abakiri baleerwa bali leadership idala ng'osalaniresa wewe ne wakasalaniresa wewe ukateeka amba nishitufuli tutwambira okulwasa n'omuyashita turashika.
My brother, thank you very much. Let's see if I can take some more calls. Thank you. Let me just take some more calls, then we close. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Perry. This is Perry calling from Osaka.
Yes, Perry.
I want to just add a contribution also on this the family update.
Yes.
On the issue, yeah. Ambassador Mwamba, I don't know what will become as a country Mwandini. I am failing to reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of one person, we've reached all this far. The president could have delegated. We have here a vice president.
Yes.
We have so many. The president has been delegating ministers to the UN, and also, why can't he just excuse himself and delegate so that we can bury our president in peace? It's very saddening. It's disheartening that we should be really fighting over a body in courts of law. It's very shameful. It's very, very shameful. I don't know what we've become as a Zambian. We've now become a laughing stock. Others have had funerals and they've buried. And look at us. Because of just, I don't know whether you can call it arrogance or whatever you can call it, for lack of a better term. This is bad. We could have buried our former president in peace, not with what is happening.
Thank you, my brother. Let me take the last call. Thank you very much, and thank you for your contribution. Let me see if I can take. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Reverend Godfrida Sumaili.
Oh, Mayo, Varishani.
Aweta tatwachula.
Mkwai.
Twachula. Especially as women, when you think of your fellow woman who has been sleeping on the floor since June the 5th, for 4 months on the floor, and weeping for her husband with her family. It is very, very painful. Mwamba, what has happened to our nation is very, very sad. It is unprecedented. It is shameful. It is embarrassing. And I know that we are a laughing stock. It is not only contrary to who we are as a people. The people of Zambia have a rich culture of respect, of compassion, and of course we are also guided by Christian values and principles. So to see what is happening to our former president who saved this nation, and he has left a mark, on this nation, is very, very sad. Allow me, Bamwamba, to make an appeal to the president, Hakainde Hichilema. Bakwate ko umutima wabuntu wakumfwila kwaba nabo uluse. Surely, Mr. President, you are the one who is holding back this process. I know that the family were ready to bring the body about 2 or 3 months ago. But then the government acted in a way which was contrary to the agreement that they had through the negotiations. Again, we are disappointed as a people of Zambia to hear that their attempts to access the body, the mortal body of our departed president, unlawfully. And for what intention? On the 18th of October, we shall be praying together as a nation. Surely, how is there hypocrisy even in our prayers? Even when you come to join the people to pray, are we praying from our hearts? Therefore, Mr. President, please let your brother rest. Let your brother rest. Let the nation begin to heal. Because healing will only start when the president, our former president, is put to rest. I thank you.
Thank you, family. That was former Minister of Religious Affairs and National Guidance, Mama Reverend Godfrida Sumaili, giving her view. I was just alerting you over these insults. Look at the insults by a newspaper run by State House, where they are attacking the Archbishop of Lusaka, and they are saying we maintain he's a criminal and is a thief in a Mukanjo, just like Makabe Zulu. You know, that's how they call Makabe Zulu. If they want, let them eat Koswe. Koswe is run by State House. It's not run by anyone, it's run by State House, by media team. And President Hakainde Hichilema has repeatedly refused to close this page. So everyone now has agreed that probably is also a co-administrator to the rogue. When he wants to be dirty, this is a page they use. It's on, we know the administrator, and we know. I have a caller here. Caller, please. We are discussing the development regarding the late president. Introduce yourself and make your comments. Hello, caller. Oh, just a minute. Maybe my Bluetooth, my earpods are activated. Just a minute, caller. No, they are off. Hello, caller. Okay, let's see if I can get... Okay, we'll see if the caller can call back. Let me take a few last calls, but there was this important call that came in. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'll remain anonymous. Ambassador Mwamba, I'm calling from Lusaka.
Okay. Make your contributions, please.
Yes, Bamwambana ine kwena ndefo kulanda pofie pali issue yaba former president besu baleti.
Enquiry.
Kwene ni chata chawama. Ero kwena chirakali pamwandini. Ba UPND kwena nga bala chitoku bibwabo bonse barefi chitoko kwini. Batinga balireka kofie. Abana abo baya batusha. Alachira tukalipa mwandini ba mwambanga wa tontonganya family. Why tontonganya? You put yourself in their shoes. It's very painful. Elo ndefu akofyo kuchitako encourage ba Esther na family kwe bati kwena tula mpepera. Mumapepo mwena twalimi bika tatumilaba. We are with you. We feel your pain. Na ifobene shira tukalipa chakwe bati uyali nikateka wesu ero kuti twatemwa aisa twamulosha muri bubwino aya with dignity nenchitwa chitire chisuma chamukonga but ichi chachitika mwandini chari tupe shamano ichintu at least if it has ever happened anywhere in the world I don't know katwishinga mipamba nganishi katwishinofa uingalanda vamwamba mwandini au kwena va president tule papata shikeni avanenu lekeni avanenu vatushe na totera vamwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you for. I will take the last two callers. This has been an emotive debate. We might follow it up tomorrow, but I think we need to end. Let me see. Let me just take the last 2-3 callers so that we close the program. You are aware of the development the family has issued. The family of the late president, through Honorable Makebi Zulu, has issued a statement revealing what has been happening regarding the remains of the late president. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from the no man's land.
Thank you.
Therefore, I fear ukonkanya pwesia landa ba mama chabulanda nganshi lelo chiningalanda pafe chakwe bati tukwate goluse uluse fe echikankala ichalo chesu bushe ni company ni country iya kwata bantu abengi te company yo tufuire twalolesha bantu pali ino instala ngufya bana banono abali muri kiriye kyalo iridia shibadishwa lero teti chiwame kubana abalekula elwemfo bonse twadishi befu ikalipa twadifirwapo bachula ba mama Esther n'abana babo tukwate kufyo uluse tukwate koluse inecho ningalanda kufya pechi kalamba chimu chakwe bati ba president besu tababa temwa nangwa panono kubantu abo baba nabo tababa temwa bantu ngabali batemwa chachi nenga bali basenda munjire isuma peche fotule mona iyo uluse fyoluse babike po fyoluse chikankala lishamo muchalo chesina mukune nechibanda muli chibanda mu Zambia ichibande chikulu sana sana emashofe nachikwata ene tata kulina yambi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, callers. Let me take. I can see there are still people calling. Let's just take 2 more last calls, and we play Honorable Makebi Zulu's statement on behalf of the family, and we close. If this matter requires us to visit it tomorrow, we may do so. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'll remain anonymous.
Yes, anonymous.
And my location anonymous. I just wanted to say, I know people are saying that, oh, have mercy, move for equality and all the rest of it. So far, in my opinion, I don't think the person we're appealing to is capable of doing that because it's been long enough. I think it's been 4 months, if not longer, that this has been going on. So he's incapable of changing his mind. He'll keep pushing until he can see the body. So what surprises me is how a very popular government in the beginning has become so unpopular very quickly because they failed to deliver on their promises, and also the cost of living is high. Zambians are basically suffering. We own less of our assets than we did in the previous regime. It's just, everything's just going down. There's no improvement. No one is benefiting. And then people seem deluded. By people, I mean the current regime. They seem deluded that they're doing well, but the Zambians are saying something else. So I think just be aware, vote wisely, and remember to kick the current regime out of power. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much from the caller. Let me take some more calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, hello. My name is Helen and I'm calling from England.
Yes.
Yeah, so to be honest, it's very disheartening. I don't even know where to start. I think as a country, for the first time, I've just realized that Zambians are cowards. Because how can we let one man, a man like everyone else, you know, get away with so much? Everyone can see what's going on. No one is thinking about what is right anymore. And then how do we go forward from here? Because how do you even trust these people that are supporting this man? How can we move forward if another president comes? How are we going to see these people that are supporting so much hate and so much evil? You know, how is the country going to heal from this? I really don't know. I think this is beyond ECL's funeral, but I pray for the family. I know they're going through a lot, but I think as a country, we have just, will never be the same. And as for HH, I don't think he's got a human heart. You know, it's really sad, but I'm praying for the family, and I really feel sad as a woman, and I'm so disappointed with people that I thought were my neighbors and friends that are supporting this kind of thing. I don't think I'll ever see them the same. We are divided for life. I don't think Zambia will be the same again, to be honest, because what is happening is not Zambian. It's very un-Zambian, and this is not who we are as a people. I'm really, really, really disheartened by the thing that's going on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Callers, you still have an opportunity to call us. Before we close, you still have an opportunity to call. We are discussing the latest development regarding ECL's mortal remains. There have been attempts to access the remains of the late president by persons calling themselves private investigators, and the family issued an alarming statement. And when the mediation is supposed to start, then there are these attacks against the appointed mediator, as if it's willfully to sabotage the process or to force Archbishop Alik Banda to withdraw from the process. Whatever the intentions, these are ill-timed. Then remarks by the president against the late president during his interaction the last 1.5 weeks. Terrible, terrible remarks, you know. And that's what we are discussing. If you have any contribution before we close, just make that contribution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Uncle G. I'm actually calling you from New Jersey.
Uncle G, make your contribution, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I think as Zambians, we need to accept where we are as a people. We should also accept the kind of leadership that we have. This leadership is evil, it has no heart, and there is nothing that, you know, us as human beings can actually appeal to change his course. He's hypocritical, he's untruthful, he's evil at its peak. That's what you can actually, this is how I can actually describe this president. This president has no soul at all, because it's been long overdue, for whatever reason that somebody may have, and all the shenanigans that they are pushing, you know, it demonstrates clearly to the fact that we are being ruled by an evil man who does not have a heart. It is very clear that this person's interest is the body. Even if certain people, I know there are people that don't understand these things. You know, the truth of the matter, this man really wants the body, and he will not back down. He's simply an evil man. You know, when the Bible is very clear on these issues, when you are ruled by an evil man, people mourn in a nation, and this is where we are. This is where we are. He sent people to prison. You know, he made sure that Rungu lost everything. Even in his death, he can't just let go. This is how evil this man is. And as Zambians, if God, my prayer really goes to the Lungu family. I know it's painful. I know it's difficult. But even in difficult times, God has his purpose. Pharaoh was hardened in the same manner this man is hardened his heart. But God had to demonstrate his power and show to the world that Pharaoh was nothing before him. Before time, in due time, God is going to come through. My prayer is that God continues to protect you and God continues to protect the body of our former president, His Excellency Edgar Chagwalungu. He did a lot for our nation. And to have a president who doesn't even love this person, because at every given opportunity, he will insult this president, the former president, even in his death. At the same time, he's claiming to say he wants to give him a dignified burial. What kind of nonsense is that? What kind of Zambian is this? Everything, this man has broken every tradition that we know. Everything that we know to be normal, he has just done them upside down. Zambians, let us get on our knees. Darkness is indeed ruling our nation. And he's not hidden all these things. We see them clearly in his behavior, in what he does against other people. It's very clear that this man does not have the heart of a human being. I can confidently say he sold his soul to the devil. Let me end here. It's so annoying to be a Zambian this time around. There is nothing good coming out of our nation. Everything about our nation is just bad. Be it in mining, the report is terrible. You know, when you talk about the human rights, it's terrible. Politically, everything is terrible. Our democracy has been shredded by this evil man. Thank you so much, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous. Make your contributions.
Yes, please. I also wish to add my voice to many that have contributed. Honorable Mamba, first of all, thank you so much for this program where we can express ourselves. And I also wish to say that it's very hypocritical of our leaders, the way they've handled the ECL funeral. It's ultimate failure in that you cannot say you love your brother, then you fail even just to honor him by burying him. I don't see any kind of love. I don't see any kind of respect. I don't see any kind of concern. There are matters of priority like death. Whenever death happens, what I know is that whenever death happens, you stop whatever you're doing because nothing is important than the funeral, than the burial or the arrangement pertaining to the funeral. Now, for us, our government, the way they've handled this is quite embarrassing. And like the lady that called previously said, it will be very difficult to recover from this. Very, very difficult to recover from this because they've set a very wrong precedence for what they've done. There's no concern, there's no care. They should have risen above politics because you're talking about life, you're talking about death, you're talking about unifying the nation. You see, when there's a funeral, that's when families come together. But this is when we have been divided more than ever before. This is embarrassing on the part of HHE. Now, this is why it doesn't deserve even our votes. It doesn't. It doesn't in any way. Because if he can fail to bury his own brother, no matter the differences, but you become a difference. You put them differences aside. You bury the dead. That's what people do.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you very much.
I've taken note of a statement from Bishop Alec Banda, which was published in today's Daily Nation newspaper, which statement, in our view, is framed in such a manner that is divisive, and would want to indicate, as we have guided before, that it is our considered view that the role of the church is to promote unity as opposed to division. We continue to also recognize the role that the church has continued to play in terms of national cohesion and bringing the people together. Many Zambians may wish to recall that we are coming from an environment in which we had a lopsided cabinet which could not represent all the regions in the country. So the UPND, including President HH, has been on record and has continued to stress the fact that we need to recognize the fact that we are all created in the image of God. And so divisive statements that relate to promoting or fueling anarchy should not be tolerated. Even issues...
He was not just a citizen. He was a head of state. And if somebody says there were issues, yes, there are always issues. But in death, we converge to honor the dead, to bury them decently for the president with all the honors, military honors. After the burial, we talk about anything we're unhappy about.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, anonymous from Bukavu, Eastern Congo.
Thank you.
Yes, Emmanuel Mamba, I think to Amona, I think to Babulu Chesu, Indupwa, if you are le pitamo, and if you le pitamo muchalo Chesu, awe. Uchiwa ya nempanga, definitely kuma Bukavu no mboko. Because you know, umuntu wale muchusha dintu adi umutuntulu. Afa futi no kumukonkera futi muchitumbi ule chusha shole muchusha sheni shinisho fwaya. Awe ile ichintu chali mpakwisha. That's why ibalanda ti Satana nangwa putura kwa muchila afunya ko namasengo. Bati kuti mwamwishi bafye kuri ka behavior chawe uyu teo tatudi nankwe. Cause kuti mwasanga jumuntu this side ayata no ndefo nshike bululu andi kuno bwino but ngakwata kufika meeting futa atampo kula ponta ukula chitaso ero naba mpalama mupepe. That's why alele to lupato. Cause naba mpalama mupepe takuti na ngumo uwinga landa kwati no ifyole chitafibi. Cause filianga twaripusene na neighbors elo neighbor afwa abantu bose kula nkondema no ifilia nabakwefyo kapapate uchiteso now bonse na family andinga ili quiet nishina bena balenchita encourage mwamona so lupato luka bapofye ulupato achita create ulupato lumolu biyo yo muntu awe bamwamba bapela papene kuti wayo kutati.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yeah, and therefore, Kulanda Kofi Panono, Amfaya former president by Edgar Lungu. Therefore, Kulando connect to me now, was which are no child, which are super passionate Ambassador Munjeleko.
I'm quiet.
Yeah. Uluse Ewuntu. Pantu apa fila former president Kale. Erono lupolo lwachula ne fwe netu achulira kumufwe fwe kala chalo cha Zambia. Inecho ndefo kulanda kuchakutila ati. Kwa timfwa yaba Edgar Lungu yali kalifya sana ba UPND na bakateka bakainde ichilema mission yabo tayapuile yasuka nemfu abalungu yabasanga icho balefu apali balungu chali kwati kubafisha kujele okubakaka ngepali nechilambu chabo chilabala donse balando kujela ati nali kakilo nali mujele mission yabo yali putukilwa echikalambasa nechabakalipa echo nabantu babo bonse bayimo kulatuka echitumbi tapa abana chimbi ba ambassador nomba lesanyi lesa wabonse ile mfwa yali fika chalipwa chonse fivenga fwa yokuchita nabe nechitabo shelefe panono emasho ife nkwete ba ambassador na totela.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador, is it me?
Yes, caller. Hello, please, caller. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, this is Cecil. I'm calling here from the United States. How are you, sir?
Oh,
Thank you so
very well, Mr. Mbolela.
Yeah, so here is what I just want to share. Firstly, I believe in laying out the principle. I'm going to appeal to two principles. The first one is the principle of humanism, which is called Ubuntu. And Ubuntu requires that you exercise compassion to those who are weak among us. Then I'm also going to appeal to, which is from Matthew 25. It says, whatever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Okay? Zambia is a Christian nation. Zambia was founded on the principle of humanism as well as a Christian tenets. Now, let me just talk about in the Ubuntu culture. There's no tribe in Zambia as we speak right now, not even in Africa, where people fight over a dead body. That is against the principle of Ubuntu. Okay? We are Africans. We are Ubuntu first before we are politicians, before we are anything else. So we have lost that. And I'm saying this to the entire nation of Zambia. We say we are a Christian nation, but there's nothing Christian right now that is going on. So that's the first principle. The second principle is the biblical principle. If we are a Christian nation, then that means that the Christian principles should supersede whatever our political inclination and appetites. Now, I'm going to give you a very good example in the Bible, which Zambians can appeal to if we are indeed a Christian nation. When Jesus was crucified, the Romans were in charge of the land of Palestine, Judea, and Galilee. So the Jews were under the oppressive system of the Roman Empire. When Jesus was crucified, he was crucified under the Roman law. But then, even then, the most evil man of that time, Pontius Pilate, he released the body of Jesus Christ to his mother, to his followers, and to his siblings for them to bury Jesus Christ. Why did he do that? Because Jesus Christ was no longer a threat to the Roman Empire. So what I'm appealing to in Zambia, all these men that run around that claim to be pastors, bishops, preachers, what kind of Bible do they read? Because there's nothing in the Bible that says that people fought over the dead body of a person. Jesus Christ's body was released to his family to be buried in dignity according to the Jewish culture by the Roman Empire. So whatever is going on in Zambia right now has nothing to do with the principles of Ubuntu, and it has nothing to do with the principles of Christianity. These things that are going on have been imported from elsewhere. But the foundation of Zambia as we speak, humanism, which is a hybrid of Ubuntu and Christianity, does not exist. For us in Zambia to be behaving like this, as if this is the first time politics have been practiced in Zambia, this is not the way you live as a nation. What kind of God can bless Zambia's endeavor when we can't even behave like Abantu or even as Christians? Absolutely no way. The Bible says, in labor you vain. In vain you labor if God does not bless your endeavors. This is why no matter whatever is happening there, God has turned his back on that country, because under what principle are you going to bless Zambia? You have violated the principles of Ubuntu, which is compassionate among the weak, among you. Okay? You violated the principle of Christianity, which is whatever you do to the least of my brothers. What are the least of my brothers? The orphans, the widow, the strangers, the refugees, those in jail. So what kind of principles are guiding Zambia? That is the conversation Zambians should have. But right now, Zambia, a Christian nation, is simply a Christian nation in name. There is no God who's going to bless that country. When Edgar Lungu became a leader, the same way Hakainde became a leader, it was ordained by God that it was going to be. And people used to pray for him. The same way with the President Hakainde. How can you put a leader that was ordained by God to be in the morgue for 4 months, and yet this man, you were praying for him when he was alive? What kind of, under what principle is this going? You cannot hide behind politics. Here's another, this is my last example on this one. When John McCain died in the United States, he gave instructions that he did not want President Donald Trump to attend his funeral. Donald Trump honored the request, and Donald Trump made sure that he availed the resources for John McCain to be buried in a dignified way as a senator, and Donald Trump did not impose himself on the funeral of John McCain. These are Muzungus we are talking about, yet they have the concept of Ubuntu among them. What is this spirit that is hovering over Zambia, where people are just behaving in any kind of way as if they don't have Intambi and traditions? This is not the Zambia we knew. The Zambia of Kaunda, the Zambia of Chiruba. Zambia is a Christian nation. This is not even the same Zambia that Nevas Mumba was preaching about. Zambia shall be saved. Saved from what? Where are the men of God to speak to the sanity of what is going on? That is my contribution. My contribution is based on the principle. Tell me, under what Ubuntu principle or Christian principle are you appealing to? You can't use politics. Pontius Pilate was a politician, yet he released the body of Jesus Christ to the family of Jesus Christ. That was a political decision. But Hakainde can do the same thing. After all, he's an elder in the SDA. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Seso is an economist and financial expert who works for the Reserve Bank here in the United States, and he has made those contributions. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name as we close.
Ambassador Munkunge,
na wela fena chibu kishapo fimu afuta mwavika pwe kozwe. Ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, Uwishkuko so alisa poster, ali poster kweba timairo, government ya kusa Africa, ili ya mkuchita inspect body. Alisa alanda mashu ikuwa kuchita mwokali family. Bambi mailo bale shani so na alifla noko belenga sana because nali umfobu byata babantu no mabachiri bale iso nshaishibe ofya lela ndapo soro na chitontonkanya namba mu surprise bamakebi zuru bawera basa mukulanda bad koswe ali filondorola government ile ya mukuchita inspect mubiri shani no kuchita mwoko aba mwokali aba ba family babo mailo oruche mailo ni shiri apwa bale sebana watu watalire mbasane fingi, which is very sad. So ni information yofo bale chitani shofesa muku posta kwa talese kakanshi ni shifumile pa table awe na kwata sana omwenso ba mwamba atimailo bakaya mukusta prayo kweba tibachi mone bode ali posto obushiko ali sa posto obushiko kuranda mashui aya biya binomba afunishe kuisa information nangu ba government bale kana tota bayishibe nomba koswe na afunishe kuisa no kufirondorola.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, family, we have to close. If there's any matter of interest, I think we'll deal with it tomorrow. For today, I think we've exhausted the concerns. We're discussing the matter regarding updates on the late president, Zambia's 6th president, who died on 5th June. There have been fresh attempts to access and secure the body, as Makebi Zulu, the family spokesperson, has demonstrated and revealed. And there are all these activities that have been taking place to attempt to sabotage mediation that should have begun just in the last week or so. If there's any development, I think we will deal with it. Let me just leave you with the remarks by the late president himself over these issues, as if he foresaw.
The party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen, to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. You see, 1 minute, I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president? When you stripped me of these things, please go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into church and says, to kill PF. And the same people should be presiding over his 10th memorial. The same people should be putting his ghost to rest forever, and we are watching. We can't accept that. That's why people are saying, what's going on in Zambia? What's going on? Because I don't want to say people were happy and excited when Mr. Sata passed on, because that's a fact. You can check it out for yourself. I don't want to say from day one, after Mr. Sata died, people began trying to destroy his memory by destroying PF.
Just to put it very in clear context, you are saying when Mr. Sata died, some people celebrated.
Yes.
They even began to campaign immediately.
Yes. Yes.
They saw it as an opportunity to get to office.
Yes. So that is a fact. And now, the same people went further when they got power in 2021 to destroy his party. And tomorrow they want to attend the memorial to make sure that even his party dies with him forever. We can't allow that. So for me, I'm waiting between now and tomorrow morning to see what happens. How can you allow somebody who has murdered your son or your daughter and you are still mourning to come and attend the funeral and we need to speak at the funeral.
But how good your son,
was. And you know about it, you say, wait a minute, what's happening? And I think I can just say the whole thing, I summed it up when I spoke to one guy. I said, because how can you, Ambassador, a Catholic, be remembered in a Jehovah's Witness hall? Yeah. In the 10th anniversary, or how do you get
to be dishonored?
How do you get remembered in a SDA church when everyone knows that you're Catholic and so on? The party, friends and all. So I only lamented that why should you be stripping me of these things and then pushing me and saying, no, we want to protect you. No, you see, demeaning of the president to be seen to be going without this or that. I said, I don't need you. You don't need me. So I was very clear. I've not complained at all. The time that I've complained is when I've been harassed. I said, you've stripped me of everything, but leave my liberty, my dignity, and my rights. That's what I'm saying even now. You see, 1 minute I walk the street, somebody says you can't walk the street because you're a former president, you are in danger of being attacked and people might attack you and will be blamed as police. That's why we're following you. The next minute I said, but you mean you didn't know that I was former president when you stripped me of these things? Please, go and put your house in order. The next minute I want to go to church, somebody goes into church and says...
Good evening, fellow countrymen and women. This is an update by the family of the former president, President Edgar Chagwalungu, on the state of the negotiations with the government of Zambia. The family of the former president, President Edgar Chagwalungu, wishes to provide a public update on the state of negotiations with the government of the Republic of Zambia regarding the protracted burial impasse of the late former president who died on the 5th of June 2025 in South Africa. On the 5th of September, the family and representatives of the government issued a joint statement wherein the public was notified that the parties would engage in mediation to resolve the dispute. It was agreed that the process would include taking steps to rebuild trust that had earlier been broken by the Zambian state when they released a funeral program that included new elements that were contrary to what was agreed upon. The government chose Bishop Joshua Banda from the North Mid Assemblies of God, and the family appointed Dr. Alec Banda, the Roman Catholic Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Lusaka. It was agreed that the two mediators were to preside over the discussions between the family and the government. However, at the time of this agreement, His Grace Archbishop Banda was in Europe and only set to return home on or around the 1st of October 2025. In the intervening period, the state engaged in acts that have only worked to undermine trust in the process. These acts included the following. Number one, hiring of the services of a private investigator without the knowledge and consent of the family. On 23rd of September 2025, in an attempt to access the body of former President Lungu, the Zambian government engaged a private investigator who approached the morgue holding the remains of the late former president, alleging that a docket of case had been opened after a report was allegedly received from a family member to the extent that the former president had been poisoned. Whilst the said private investigator, in the company of plainclothes police officers, was still at the morgue, the family was contacted, and upon request, the said investigator and police declined to talk to the family. Instead, the investigator and police officers proceeded to hold a meeting with the management of the morgue. The following were the minutes of the proceedings of the said meeting. And I quote, "On 23rd September 2025, we received an announced visit from members of the South African Police Service, accompanied by a representative of a private security firm. The purpose of the visit was to inquire about the whereabouts of a body in connection with a case of alleged poisoning involving the president. The attendees of the meetings were Sheldon Modley, who was the chief executive of the morgue, Fulufelo Lukwareni, who was the operations manager of the morgue, and Pom Nisi, executive legal risk and compliance at the morgue. With the private investigator was Detective Sergeant Ngwenya from SAPS Parktown, Sergeant Tobejani from SAPS Parktown, and Mr. Sibindi, the CEO of GIRA's investigations. Detective Sergeant Ngwenya advised that a case of poisoning had been opened and wanted to know the whereabouts of the body in order to carry out a post-mortem. When asked who initiated the case, we were informed that it was opened on the basis of allegations circulating on public platforms, including social media. We also inquired about Mr. Sibindi's involvement, and he confirmed that he had been appointed by the Zambian government in relation to the matter. All three individuals presented valid identification prior to any discussions. We confirmed that the body is currently with TM, although we do not have specific details on its exact location. We also informed the officials that a court order is in place prohibiting the release of the body, and we remain committed to complying with this order. Detective Sergeant Gwenya indicated that SAPS may proceed with an application under Section 205 and potentially save us with an order to release the body so that they can do a postmortem on 25th September. Action TM to update the family regarding the above developments. End of quote. Upon receipt of these trust-breaching acts, the family decided to bring this matter to the attention of Mr. Patrick Kangwa, the Secretary to the Cabinet of the Republic of Zambia, whom the government had officially designated as its focal point of contact through whom all communication was to be carried out. In response, Mr. Kangwa expressed ignorance as to the happenings and undertook to inquire. After 3 days of silence, we nudged the Secretary to the Cabinet for a response as to the outcome of his inquiry. Mr. Kangwa responded that as far as he knew, the Zambian government was not involved in these acts and had not tendered any such report to him. As this correspondence was taking place via phone, we then requested the Secretary to the Cabinet to put in writing the response he had just shared with the family so that the formal communication of the position of the government could be shared with the morgue for its notice. Despite undertakings to do so, Mr. Kangwa has to date not done so. Perhaps additionally, as of this evening, Mr. Kangwa said the said letter would not be processed. Instead, on the 29th of September 2025, a group calling itself Progressive Forces of South Africa purported to have formally filed a report with the South African Police Service, alleging that President Edgar Lungu was murdered and as such investigations be carried out. It must be noted that this is the same organization that was used to disparage the Lungu family and vilify the late former President Lungu. It is also the same organization that protested at the Pretoria High Court when the matter came up for their hearing in the name of supporting the government of Zambia. The public may wish to note that while the family was and has been engaging the government in good faith, the government was and has, in the background, been carrying out clandestine activities that can only be said to be intended to frustrate the process and present a futile bid to access the body of the former President Lungu for unknown reasons. Secondly, the sustained and malicious attacks on the family-chosen mediator. Following the return of Archbishop Alik Banda, the mediator selected by the family on the 1st of October 2025 It was announced that the parties were to engage and agree on the dates and timelines for discussion. However, rogue online tabloids and individuals associated with the government of Zambia launched scathing attacks on His Grace Archbishop Banda, short of calling him a criminal. These attacks continued for days, bringing the name of the Archbishop into public ridicule and odium. This has resulted in the stalling of progress to formally commence talks. Incidents such as the above stated seriously erode the trust that is essential to the success of the process of this nature. They also raise legitimate concerns about the sincerity and coordination of efforts on the part of those involved. That said, the Lungu family remains fully committed to ensuring that the late former president is laid to rest in a manner that honors his dignity and wishes. This has been the position of the family from the beginning. As such, the family will explore every avenue to honor former President Lungu's wishes. We remain indebted to the Zambian people and other well-wishers who have continued to stand with the Lungu family in prayers, thoughts, and otherwise, and without whom the burden and load would have been unbearable. As we seek closure to what has been and continues to be a very difficult period, we continue praying to God Almighty and remain hopeful that this darkest hour will pass. May God bless Zambia, and may God bless everyone who is watching this podcast.
Today we stand at a crossroads, not just of politics, but of conscience. The passing of our humble president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, is not only a moment of mourning, it is a moment of reckoning. Let this be a message to every future politician of Zambia. Power is not a crown. It is a responsibility. You are not above the people, you are born of them. You are raised by their trust, and you are judged by how you honor it. What we witnessed during President Lungu's health challenges must never happen again. No family should be dragged through courtrooms while grieving. No widow should plead for dignity. No orphan should wait for justice to bury their father. This is not the Zambia we were meant to be. Let us start over. Let us rebuild, not just our institutions, but our hearts. Let the death of President Lungu remind us that we are each other's keeper. That love is not weakness, it is our greatest strength. That the Bible commands us to care for the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. And that true leadership begins with compassion. We only have one Zambia. Let us raise her high, not with slogans, but with service. Let us show love, not just in words, but in action. Let us unite, not just in grief, but in purpose. To the Lungu family, we are with you. To every citizen, your pain matters. To every leader, your legacy begins now. One Zambia, one nation, one heart.
Amitapendwa ya vintu ifisume vyoza kula kwibukisha Kana depotimo Wimbo wa temenu wa katongi Abazunga wajika katongi Nakula kwibukisha kateka Kaibugumuna kapona Nese kosiove pameso Yamwa maume maya Iyaba maume Iyaba maume
Kateka wabantu Twakulila lelo twakulila Shika kukonke milimo shove
Ale filamba Yena minta pengo shile Eti kume mokula dolola vale Lilo wingi
Iseko wingi mwakwete Iseso wingi mwakwete Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katusi muchi wakege Wali bomba kale Lomba mwatuja tulelilake Mufanga chiba
Penda Kupanga mwine Moja mwine Ide dalila
Ya mama ume Ala nacho mwabye Mama Ukula bebyo wati dobwingi Ibisebo wapangiri obwingi Ukuchinjo lusako kumoneko busaka Mama Utituwa na basiyani Chagwa katuse